Good afternoon and welcome to the Millennium Stadium in Cardiff for the traditional season opener to the English domestic season, pitching the league champions Arsenal against the FA Cup holders Manchester United. And Tommy Smith and Adrian Healy with you this afternoon. Tommy, this might be a friendly game, but it might be a misnomer where these two teams are concerned.
Yeah, I think when it comes down to this situation, I don't think there is anything friendly about Arsenal and Manchester United. They're two teams that really don't have that great love for one another, and certainly, you know, what happens today could happen during the season as well.
Well, two teams locked horns 4 times last year. Of course, it was Arsenal who ended the season dominating, if you will, the domestic season, ending up undefeated. Quite a remarkable achievement, and that achievement has been one that Alex Ferguson has somehow managed to ridicule a little bit this week, Tommy, stoking the fire, if you will.
Well, Ferguson is very well known for doing his things, and you know, he talks about there was so many draws in there, and he makes light of the fact that Arsenal went undefeated, but it's still a magnificent season for Arsenal, no matter what Sir Alex says, and I have great respect for him.
Well, let's look at the record between the two teams as you look at Arsene Wenger leading Arsenal yet again. They've played 5 times in this Community Shield, as it's now known. First met back in 1948, but it's really the meetings since 1993 that have kind of defined the English domestic game. And Arsenal have 3 victories to Manchester United's 2. Man United did win last season, Tommy, on penalty kicks after a 1-1 draw.
Yeah, well, you know, they say there's nothing in this competition, but it's generally an indication as to how things might go for you in the rest of the season. And of course, Manchester United coming away last year winning the FA Cup, Arsenal winning the Premiership, and that's how they're here. And it's always been very, very close in this first game.
Well, the FA Cup provided Manchester United with their brief glimmer of hope last year. It was their one piece of silverware from the season. They did beat Arsenal on their way to winning the final in the semi-final by a 1-0.
Well, that was the one little bit of silverware that they got, and you shouldn't probably say a little bit of silverware when you talk about the FA Cup, because it's one of the most renowned cups in the world, and every team that is worth their salt would love to win the FA Cup. And of course, Arsenal ran away with the Premiership, Adrian.
The Premiership is really what counts now in England, and Arsenal making history really last year, becoming the first team to go through a season undefeated, winning the title by 11 points. Manchester United left in just 3rd place, and that means they will have to, of course, go through the qualifying rounds of the Champions League, and that will be on their mind as they head into this game as well. Well, we'll return to the Millennium Stadium after these words and bring you the lineups and take you to the first half kickoff. Arsenal against Manchester United coming up next. To the Millennium Stadium in Cardiff, the Community Shield, the FA Community Shield as it's now known. And we are underway. Adrian Healy and Tommy Smith with you. Arsenal wearing a slightly unfamiliar blue strip today. Manchester United in their traditional red. And as we said, the traditional curtain raiser to the domestic season, pitching the league champions Arsenal against the FA Cup holders Manchester United. The two teams that have dominated the English game over the past decade. Arsenal kicking from left to right and really putting out a pretty strong team this afternoon. We'll get you the lineups as soon as we have an opportunity here. Pascal Sagan on the ball, centre back for Arsenal. Of course, no Sol Campbell for them today. He's out for some time. Jermaine Pennant on the ball, returning after his loan spell at Leeds United last season. Bringing Laurent into the play. Gilberto looking long.
Well, Neville, of course, over there, one of the mainstays of Manchester United's defence for many, many years. Some people say he never lifted his game really to the next level, but he's always been very, very solid.
There's Jose Antonio Reyes, who gets the starting nod today. There was a lot of thought that Thierry Henry would not be fit to make this game, but he is indeed taking his place in the starting lineup for Arsenal. It's the league champions enjoying all the early possession here.
Oh, I see Alan Smith out there, probably a lot of the first time you've seen him at Manchester United, the man from Leeds. And Paul Scholes, of course, who announced during the week that he wasn't going to play international football anymore. He's not going to feature for England. He wants to save himself for his club career.
Major surprise on international retirement. Still only 29, so
I think there's a lot of players starting to look that way, Adrian, with all the games. Pavel Nedved is now saying that he's probably going to retire internationally. And of course, the man going after the ball there, Roy Keane, retired for a little while internationally. But the good news for Ireland, of course, is that he is going to be back and playing World Cup qualifications starting in September.
Long ball looking for Henry, headed away by Silvestre. Neville sending it back to Tim Howard, the American goalkeeper who made such an impact in this fixture last year. It was what really won him the starting nod from Alex Ferguson, his game-winning performance in last year's Community Shield.
Well, Silvestre in the middle today. Of course, Wes Brown unavailable and Rio Ferdinand still suspended.
Alan Smith, first real touch for him. And the shot was a long-range one from Keane, well over the top from the Irishman.
Well, Keane coming through there. Alan Smith with a nice touch on the ball after the Arsenal defenders made a mistake.
Well, there are our lineups for you this afternoon. And, of course, the big absentee for Arsenal, Patrick Vieira, Tommy. But Arsene Wenger still putting out a pretty strong team. Manchester United with other concerns, maybe not the strongest lineup. Of course, no Ruud van Nistelrooy for them. But Quinton Fortune does get the start. Eric Djemba and David Bellion, a player who didn't really feature much at all in the first team last year.
Well, I think the fact that Manchester United have a big qualifying game coming up in the European Championship and the Champions League, it's probably very strong on Alex Ferguson's mind. And
yeah, they play Dinamo Bucharest on Wednesday night. A game they obviously feel is more important than this one. But whenever these two teams meet, you can never count out that competitive spirit. Desire to win will be there, and desire to make a psychologically good start to the domestic season, even though it doesn't earn you any league points. That's going to be a free kick awarded against Laurent. In a pretty dangerous position here, just outside the box. Alan Smith.
Well, a long ball played down, and you can see Giggs coming across onto it, and Giggs taken out of it by Laurent. Referee right on the spot and called it.
Well, the Cameroonian right back has a reputation for being a tough tackler. It's more of a wrestling match right there, and Jens Lehmann has some early organising to do here. It's Keane, Fortune and Giggs standing over the ball. Paul Scholes also looking on with some interest. 5 men in the Arsenal wall. They set up Paul Scholes, but they really allowed too much time for the Arsenal wall to break and come out and smother the chance.
Well, it was much too slow.
Been somewhat a pre-season of disarray for Manchester United, Tommy. They certainly have not had all their players available. They had a bit of a disappointing and lackluster tour of the United States as Bergkamp blusters through, and a chance for Henry. Just got a toe poke to it. Wasn't enough to trouble Tim Howard as Arsenal really threatened for the first time.
Nice move forward by Arsenal, coming through on the right wing. Watch for Henry making that break down the middle, and he just gets a touch onto the ball. He doesn't get a whole lot of steam onto it, and Tim Howard is there to make the easy save. Pennant is the man who places it inside. Silvestre is a little bit slow to get back. Gary Neville was very slow to come across on the Henry. You can't allow Henry to be wide open in the box like that. If you do, he's going to reap the benefits, believe me.
30 Premiership goals last year, Thierry Henry. Been a major fitness doubt for this game. Offsides will hold back the Frenchman on this occasion.
Well, you always know that Arsenal's game plan is if they can get Henry involved in it, he's the man who's going to be involved in it. So Manchester United, they got to wake themselves up a little bit down there. They got to mark them a little bit closer. They're allowing a lot of room.
Well, the main question marks heading into this game were definitely up front for Manchester United. No Ruud van Nistelrooy, no Louis Saha. So really the spotlight is there for Alan Smith to grab this afternoon. Here he is, looking lively. Decent ball for Bellion to run onto. David Bellion They signed from Sunderland. Chance to measure his cross. He rather rifled it into Gary Neville, and Neville was forced to commit the foul.
Well, there's all kinds of things going on out there, isn't there? I mean, Manchester United really have never come up with a replacement for Beckham on that right wing. The question is, who is it? I mean, Bellion can probably slide himself out that way. Alan Smith looks like he's going out that way today.
This time the foul against Dennis Bergkamp. Many thought Bergkamp was on his way out of Highbury at the end of last year, but really proved inspirational at times during the championship run. Alex Ferguson, a lot on his mind, you feel. Dinamo Bucharest waiting in the wings on Wednesday nights. Can't really afford to pick up any more injuries to his first team squad. Now Reyes. Henry picking up the loose ball and finding Bergkamp, trying to twist around Silvestre. He got a chip in the end, did the Dutchman. Henry and Bergkamp combining again.
Once again, that defense of Manchester United is leaving a little bit desired. Keane cuts the ball out initially, but he doesn't clear it, and then Bergkamp gets in on front there, and he does get the touch onto the ball, and he just put it up over the top. Just that could have been a disaster.
It's just the sort of strike that the Dutchman has made a habit of producing over the years for Arsenal, conjuring a goal out of nothing. Bellion up against one of the heroes for England of Euro 2004, Ashley Cole. No joy for Bellion.
You mean England had heroes in Euro 2004?
Well, they're still counting the cost, really. Cole was an injury doubt. Sol Campbell still remains injured from England's Euro campaign, as does Wayne Rooney, for that matter.
Well, Mr. Wenger is certainly not very happy about what happened with Sol Campbell, is he? I mean, he maintains that the injury should have been spotted a lot quicker, and Sol Campbell should have had the treatment an awful lot quicker. So Mr. Wenger is not too happy with what went on in Euro 2004. But then again, he's never happy about anything, is he? Unless Arsenal is winning.
Which they are most of the time.
Last year, anyhow. Well, there's Ronaldo. I mean, he's the young man who... I thought he was gone to the Olympics. Isn't that the same guy?
Change his hairstyle, maybe. No, Ronaldo is away on Olympic duty. Manchester United have had their share of injuries as well to deal with. Ronaldo is away on Olympic duty. Had some players involved in the Copa America as well over the summer. Now Jermaine Pennant. Pennant unable to pull that one down. Pennant, who really starred for Leeds United in what was a dismal outing or season for Ellen Road last year. Welcomed back into the fold by Arsene Wenger. And the ball goes back to Jans Lehmann, ever present last year, played all 54 games for the league champions in all competitions. Did Lehmann. Kolo Touré stepping in, spraying the ball wide left to Reyes. Reyes up against Neville. Reyes' ball was cut out, but Bergkamp's shot demanded the save from Tim Howard.
Well, when you look at Manchester United, I mean, they have a few problems at the back, and Heinze is certainly a man who Manchester United are missing. He's another of those players that we're joking about, Adrian, that's gone to the Olympics. The man, of course, we were looking at was Van Persie, who looked so much like Ronaldo. Van Persie on the Arsenal bench, the young man who came across from Holland.
Reyes inside one way, then the other. He needed the intervention. And Silvestre at the back. Gilberto had a long-range shot blocked, and now Paul Scholes attempting to redress the balance. It's been pretty much one-way traffic. Scholes is chopped down, and that will buy some relief for the FA Cup holders.
And if you look at what Ferguson's facing, okay, he has Ronaldo at the Olympics, he has Heinz at the Olympics, and he has Rio Ferdinand going to come back from a suspension. So, I mean, there's 3 players that he's going to bring back out of the team. He says he may not play them for 2 or 3 months, but if you can get a pretty good run in the beginning of the Premiership at that stage, and then you're fit to bring back 3 players like that, you could do yourself a lot of good. Hey, there's a man who has come under a lot of pressure of recent times, hasn't he?
Sven-Göran Eriksson, still the England manager, despite some pretty concerted efforts to remove him from that position. Paul Scholes won't be playing any further part in Sven-Göran Eriksson's plans as we look at the bench. And there's Robin van Persie, as you mentioned, Tommy.
Yeah, that's the young man here. He is a bit of a look like Ronaldo. He doesn't quite play like Ronaldo yet, but he is a brilliant player who we've watched for a long time in Holland.
On the Manchester United bench, Diego Forlan and Darren Fletcher perhaps will see some action. Number 29, Jonathan Spector, young American defender.
Yeah, and young Eagles played well in the US as well. I mean, I know what you're talking about. You were talking about this Manchester United tour of the US. I mean, for Ferguson, it was the ideal thing because he got an opportunity to see. He got an ideal chance to see Spector. He saw Eagles. He saw a lot of the young players. I know he came under a lot of pressure because they were charging so much money into the games. I mean, some of the games, the cheapest ticket was $50, and the public weren't at all enamored with the fact that he was putting out all these substitutes. But still, in Ferguson's mind, I mean, Jonathan Spector proved that he can play. I think he's a young player with a future. Eagles certainly proved that he could play for my money in the games that I saw him play. And I thought the game against AC Milan in Giant Stadium was a very absorbing game.
Well, they're trying to spring the offside trap here, Manchester United. Ryan Giggs' through ball found Bellion just in an advanced position. But that's the reality of the world game nowadays, Tommy. So many international players, of course, on duty. Euro 2004 and the Copa America affected both these clubs.
Yeah, and you can see there was clearly an offside call there. And yeah, and Ferguson done the right thing, you know, giving guys like Van Nistelrooy and Forlan and players like that a rest. I mean, it is a long season, and if you're playing with a club like Manchester United, you got the Champions League, which you hope you're going to qualify for. You got this cup, you got the Premiership, and you got the FA Cup. I mean, it's amazing the amount of games that are played in the season now.
Dennis Bergkamp standing over. Free kick opportunity for Arsenal, and sending plenty of players forward. Pascal Sagan amongst them. Bergkamp floating it far post. He was hoping Sagan would be there, but Tim Howard coming out and claiming fairly easily.
Well, Tim Howard, of course, was the revelation last year for Manchester United. I mean, whoever thought that Barthez wouldn't be the goalkeeper of choice for Alex Ferguson? Went to the United States on a tour. He played Tim Howard, and the rest is history now. Tim had some season for himself.
Approaching the quarter of an hour mark here. Paul Scholes trying to release Ryan Giggs. Giggs into the box, and it needed a toe poke away from Sagan to rescue the situation for Arsenal.
Well, Sagan doing a good job of staying with Giggs. Giggs coming in from an unfamiliar side. That he's coming in from the right-hand side that time. Normally you find him on the left. Knocks it down with the head, and then Sagan just smacks it out of there. Could have gone anywhere.
So that'll be the first corner kick of the afternoon for Manchester United. Giggs himself will go across to take this left-footed. Just chips it into the near post. An easy header away, but Giggs will get a second chance. A nice step inside. And the ball into the near post was a dangerous one. Arsenal get it away, though, and now a chance to break. Jermaine Pennant, chance to really stretch his legs. They have 3-on-2 here. Reyes joining the attack. This is Reyes. Well, he tried to square it back into the path of Pennant, but Neville had come across.
That was a good read by Neville, coming across all the way from his right full-back position. He realised the break was coming upfield as Manchester United had Silvestre was caught upfield. He was the man that had the chance to take the shot on the Arsenal goal, and then when he got caught upfield, Neville did a good job of covering at the back for him. He covered a lot of ground.
Well, Arsenal so adept at turning defence into attack. Reyes with the resulting corner. It was beyond Howard. It needed the header away from Jemba. Tim Howard, there has been a knock on him. It has been his ability to deal with those vicious in-swinging corner kicks. So I'm beaten a couple of times last year from headers close in. And Thierry Henry is going to be forced to wait to take the corner. Apparently claiming something has been thrown at him from the crowd.
Lighter. I mean, that...
Not amused, the Frenchman, and I don't blame him. Henry right in front of the Manchester United supporters section there.
Okay, just a chance to do it again.
Mike Dean is our referee this afternoon. Well, third time of asking, Thierry Henry. Now, again, perhaps distracted by events over in that corner, unable to really deliver an effective corner kick, and Manchester United looking to break.
Well, I'm sure some of the things he's heard after it really distract him after he took the corner kick.
Oh, the man who speaks many languages.
And there were many languages being spoke over there, most of them bad.
Roy Keane.
Looks like Ferguson's trying so many different things. Very unusual to see Keane pop up on the left wing, Adrian.
Quentin Fortune delivering a decent ball right into the 6-yard box. Sagan has started out like he means business at the heart of the Arsenal defence.
Well, he's going to swing this ball across into the middle here. Watch, there's nobody. Alan Smith takes a step back. He's looking for the back post.
Corner kick was quickly taken. Scholes sent it back from where it came. But Fortune had stayed in an offside position.
Well, Quentin Fortune playing on the right side of defence, pushing up. It's a role that John O'Shea and Silvestri have had at many different times, and here's Fortune very, very close. That was very close. He might have been a couple of yards offside when the ball came across, but I think when the ball was played, he had held his position well, that he shouldn't be offside.
Certainly looked like Dennis Bergkamp was close to keeping him on. So Jans Lehmann, German goalkeeper, sending it forward, and this will be a free kick to Arsenal, shoving the back. Thierry Henry was fouled, and this will set up an interesting free kick situation for the champions. It doesn't look like either team is holding too much back through this early 20 minutes or so, Tommy.
No, they're certainly having a good go at it, and I mean, it's one of those competitions that, even though it is the first in the season, you do love to win it. It does give you a certain amount of bragging rights. Although the last time the Gunners, over the last 3 times, 98, 99 and 2002, they've lost the Premiership to Manchester United after winning this Charity Shield. Maybe they shouldn't want to win it.
Henry with the free kick, and Tim Howard at full stretch, tipping it over. The closest we've had yet. The American responded to the Frenchman's strike.
Beautiful strike by Henry. The ball curled in over the wall, and Tim Howard gets a hand up onto it. He has that right hand, comes across onto it. You see O'Shea looking back, hoping. O'Shea playing in the centre of the defence along with Silvestri.
Another corner kick for Arsenal. Again, on their right-hand side. This time, Reyes across. Left-footed delivery. Pretty decent one. This time, Tim Howard is equal to it. Bergkamp trying to wrestle possession back for Arsenal, and does so. Tried to play the quick give and go. Now Ryan Giggs can set up a Manchester United counter. Well, he'd rather telegraph that ball. Easy for Ashley Cole.
Well, I know we've gone 20 minutes and we haven't started talking about what everybody else is talking about. The question is Patrick Vieira a gunner, or is Patrick Vieira going to play for Real Madrid? To me, the signs are he's going to play for Real Madrid. I don't know how you feel about it, but
as we look at another Spaniard, Reyes brought down, well, the sticking price seems to be the transfer fee. Real Madrid have balked at Arsenal's demands for £23 million.
Funny, we went through this, was it last year, with another English player, David Beckham, wasn't it? I mean, he wasn't going, he was going, there was enough money, there was enough money. Finally he went, I don't know. My mum used to always say there's never any smoke without fire, and I think there's a lot of fire this time.
Arsenal fans have to be wondering whether they're ever going to see their inspirational captain again. Dennis Bergkamp trying to provide the inspiration. Header out was a solid one, but Arsenal have Manchester United pinned back on their heels at the moment. Ashley Cole. It's a decent ball towards Sagan, who'd stayed forward following the set piece, but he couldn't get on the end of it.
Well, Sagan probably wouldn't be playing if Sol Campbell was fit. I mean, Touré and Sol Campbell provided quite a very, very strong middle defensive partnership for Arsenal last year. Sagan had a tough time getting in, although he did get in over 20 games and qualified for a championship medal. But I think he's going to have a tough time. I think he doesn't have the pace anymore to play as a central defender, Adrian. And Touré and certainly Campbell have put him down to pecking order a bit.
Well, you look at the players that left Arsenal during the close season. Marty Keown went to Leicester. Ray Parlour to Middlesbrough. Kanu on his way to West Bromwich Albion. So really all the players now left at Arsenal are players that Arsene Wenger has brought in since his arrival at the club in 1996. Sagan, one of those. And now we'll have a corner kick to defend as we reach the halfway point of this first half. Half that so far you feel Arsenal have shaded, but Manchester United threatening at the moment. Giggs delivers it, and it was Silvestre, was it, who rose from about 8 yards out.
Takes a touch on the way in. Silvestre gets himself another corner kick, rises well. 3 defenders around him. He's still, I don't think that should be a corner kick. I don't think anybody touched that. Oh yeah, it did. It took a deflection off the defender. I was looking towards the goalkeeper, but it did take a deflection off the defender after it came off Silvestre's head.
So Manchester United will have a second chance, this time from the opposite side. The Giggs again. This will be an in-swinger. Just tried to chip it into that near post area. Henry was there. Henry does get through an awful lot of defensive work as well. There's this obvious attacking prowess for Arsenal. Jemba, decent ball. But Bellion had just strayed offside again. Big chance this afternoon, you feel, for David Bellion to make a name for himself.
Just offside as the ball is played in, and the Frenchman, certainly last year, early on in the tour of the United States, Bellion looked like he might become a player on this team, and now again Sir Alex has given him an opportunity.
Bellion, who started his footballing career at Caen in France, same club Patrick Vieira first appeared for.
Of course, another man missing from Arsenal today, Freddie Lundberg. He's getting an opportunity to get a rest.
Yeah, no Robert Pires either. Looking at the Arsenal bench. Bergkamp, great first-time ball. Jermaine Pennant will scurry onto this one. Pennant sending it back in. There was some indecision for a moment between Howard and his defender. Reyes couldn't quite profit from it.
Well, Timmy Howard should have come out and gobbled that ball up. Instead, he found himself in no man's land as he came out after the ball. And that defense looks a little bit slack. Pennant looks like he's the makings of a good player and will fit in well with this Arsenal team. A good first-time ball across, and as the ball comes through, Reyes can't get to it. He's already on the ground, and Neville has done a good job at cleaning up on that right-hand side.
Yeah, it really was Gary Neville's challenge on Reyes that prevented a goal. But Pennant has certainly shone brightly through this first 25 minutes. Returning to Highbury after a year away with Leeds United.
I must say that from my experience calling the Dutch league last year, I think that Van Persie, the young man we were joking about looking so much like Ronaldo, is a player for the future. Arsene Wenger has signed him. He's going to take him along very, very slowly. This to me is a young man. Watch for him. Van Persie, Robin Van Persie, put him down in your notebook, because I think by the end of the year you're certainly going to hear a lot about him. He's got a lot of talent, he's got a lot of skill, speed, he can shoot. He's got all the tools. Now it's a question of, can they just mould him into a good tradesman? And he's certainly in the right place, isn't he?
He certainly is. It was interesting to hear Wenger talk during the week about Reyes as well, the Spanish signing he made in January last year. And this is a real chance for Arsenal. Oh, Bergkamp just stood on the ball. The ball was played a little bit behind him. In truth, Thierry Henry not quite able to link up effectively with his strike partner. What would have been a glorious opportunity.
talk about young players, they have a young player out there, Cesc Fabregas, the young Frenchman. I see him out there playing in midfield. He's certainly a player that they're very high on, Adrian.
Yeah, Fabregas, Van Persie. Those two together, maybe the future, albeit the long-term future of the Arsenal midfield under Arsene Wenger.
I wonder what's Wenger's long-term future. Is he here for the long term? I mean, there's been a few rumours about whether he's going to be here or not.
Well, likely.
I mean, could Eriksson lose his job as English manager and Eriksson come in as an Arsenal manager? Because, I mean, there's been talk that after October, November, Wenger may not sign a new contract.
Similar speculation always seems to swirl around Alex Ferguson, the Manchester United coach.
He's not going anywhere, take my word for it. He has a good team with Manchester United. Why would you go someplace else? Unless those Irish guys throw him out, that consortium of horsemen.
Wenger and Ferguson now two of the three longest serving Premiership managers. Only Alan Kirbishley is in there as well, as having served longer than Wenger. Gary Neville, a loyal servant in his own right for Manchester United. The throw finds Scholes. Kane to Jemba. Manchester United trying to make progress down their left, but that's very easily cut out by Laurent. Bergkamp back to link with Fabregas. And now Reyes was given those first few months in English football last season to get acclimatized. Laurent. Fortune in close attendance. Pennant's ball is deep towards Fabregas, and Gary Neville had to put it out for a corner kick.
Gary Neville's come under a bit of pressure there. Fabregas, of course, the youngest player ever to feature for Arsenal, 16 years and 170 days, when he started the carling tie against Rotherham at Highbury, being him the youngest Arsenal goal scorer. Scored on December 2nd against Wolves. He was only 16 years old and 212 days. So this is a man definitely, as you said, he's for the future. There's no question about that.
Henry's corner kick. Jemba with the header away. The flick on. Finds Paul Scholes. And Ryan Giggs up against Ashley Cole. Those two have had some battles over the last 2 or 3 seasons. Another strong challenge by Cole. Still only 23, almost unbelievably, Ashley Cole. And a good step in. And Fabregas, he really has looked the part early on here. Releasing Henry. Just Henry and Fabregas forward. More help arriving though for Arsenal, and Henry was given a little nudge on his way down there, was he?
Oh yeah, he certainly got a little nudge. He was trying to play the ball in behind the defender. Rather than play the ball early, he had Fabregas coming through with him. He decides to go for the back line here, and just, well, I mean, it'd be a very tough call to give a penalty against him. The ball going towards the byline here. He just does enough to keep him away from it, and Henry went down rather easily, I imagine.
Well, Mikel Silvestre really wasn't close enough to the ball to have a chance of getting it. And Silvestre, remember, was the man who gave away 2 penalties during Euro 2004 for France. This is Paul Scholes. He'll have a go. He took a deflection, and Jens Lehmann had to get down smartly. Almost the first save he's had to make.
Well, Lehmann did very well here, because this ball is smacked when Scholes hits it. Watch this. The Toure turned onto it, and the ball almost beat Lehmann. Those balls, when they're deflected like that, you're going, you have your mind made up where you're going to go for it, and all of a sudden someplace else.
The ball might just have been drifting wide, but Lehmann wasn't to know that.
I wonder, will Lehmann be the goalkeeper for Germany in World Cup action when Mr. Klinsmann now taking over the German team? I mean, can Oliver Kahn go on forever?
Well, you have to wonder, but Lehmann himself is already 34. He's had to wait in the wings an awful long time behind Oliver Kahn as we look at Alan Smith.
That's a mighty nifty hairdo, isn't it? Talk about wings, you could nearly take off with that thing.
Smith will look to get on the end of this corner kick, although it's taken short. Giggs sending it in. Scholes unable to find a teammate with his knockdown, and Bergkamp can bring it away for the champions.
Smith will have to prove himself to Manchester United fans, because really the fact that he was a Leeds man and the fact that he was so closely associated with Leeds, certainly he'll have to do something special to win the Manchester United fans over.
Well, a lot of onus and responsibility on him early in this season, with Van Nistelrooy out for what looks like at least a month. And he'll have a corner kick on which to pray as David Bellion wins one for Manchester United.
David Bellion sporting a nice black eye that he received on that last tour.
So once again it will be Giggs across to take this. Smith. Well, it's such a surprise signing in many ways. Manchester United having proclaimed that he would never go to Old Trafford. Giggs and Lehman coming to claim very confidently.
And you know what they say, money talks and nobody walks. Certainly Alan Smith, I think he will be a good player eventually for Manchester United when he learns the system, learns to fit in with them. I mean, he's one player who gives of himself all the time.
Bergkamp slotting it through to Reyes. Needs some help in a hurry. It arrives with Thierry Henry. One way, then the other. The save and put in. No! Well, it looked for all the world like Jermaine Pennant was going to put in the rebound after Howard's save, but he rolled it wide at the far post. Glorious opportunity.
Oh, he should have banged it. Neville gets taken out of the play here. The ball cut back outside. Henry with a beautiful move. Great save by Tim Howard. And Pennant just, instead of giving her a wrap, tries to guide it in. Beautiful save by Howard. Howard was moving in the wrong direction because Henry moved the ball from one foot to the other, and he really had Timmy Howard flat-footed, but Timmy did a good job of recovering.
Pennant, an immediate chance to make amends here. Into the box. Just shadowed away from it. Quentin Fortune. Laurent arriving in support, though. And Fabregas. Arsenal looking very lively. Certainly have created the better opportunities. This one snuffed out, though, by the mass ranks of Manchester United shirts. Alan Smith is brought down. Smith scored 54 goals in over 220 games for Leeds United, so not the most prolific goal scorer. He's had about one in every four. Knows all about goal scoring, Thierry Henry, but a little wayward with his pass on that occasion. Reyes appreciating the effort.
I think you're going to see Smitty in a role that he'd be dropping into that deep slot. I think he'd be dropping in behind Van Nistelrooy when Ferguson goes to that one striker attack. And if he's going to a two striker attack, he'll still drop him into a kind of a triangle with Smith coming as the deepest man. I mean, he has that ability to come through from midfield. There you see him in what I'm talking about, the ideal spot there, that he can come through from midfield.
He's been kept very quiet by the presence of Kolo Touré for most of the afternoon so far. Touré fouling him on that occasion. Manchester United getting the restart taken quickly.
You just wonder what's the situation for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. How does he fit into this system? A man who never seems to complain, always seems to make himself available.
Solskjaer also unavailable due to injury. And Fortune. Jermaine Pennant is back with it. Finds Alan Smith. He tried to tee it up for the run of Paul Scholes, but it was quickly read by Fabregas, who really has impressed early on here.
For a young kid, I mean, he reads the game so well, doesn't he? He gets himself into really good positions to make the tackles, and he also gets himself into a good position where he can avail of the pass.
Majemba just behind Paul Scholes.
Oh, that one needed to be a half a yard more forward, and Scholes was in good shape. Of course, Nicky Butt missing out of this midfield now. He's been such a great character for Manchester United over the years, came through with all those young players, and Butt's gone now, so he'll be a loss, I imagine. I know he didn't feature that often anymore, but he was still part of the Manchester United team.
Butt on his way to St James's Park. Ryan Giggs, good move from him. Alan Smith trying to get on the end of it. It needed the toe poke away from Laurent. Smith, it's a second chance to deliver. Pops out to Quinton Fortune. This ball easily cleared by Ashley Cole. Manchester United in the ascendancy for the moment.
Yeah, they finally put together some attacking movement here.
Fortune again will have a chance to serve the ball in. Not service with a smile this time. Alan Smith unable to make an immediate impact as of yet. Well, as always, join ESPN for another edition of Sports Centres. We take you around the world of sports, an in-depth look at all the news, scores and highlights. As always, check your local listings wherever you may be watching.
Well, certainly Manchester United looked like they had a good call on a handball by Sigan that time when the ball was played inside. It was outside of the box, so there was no question about it being a penalty kick. It just would have been a free kick.
We're watching the Community Shield here on ESPN from the Millennium Stadium. It's a traditional curtain raiser to the season. For the last 30 years, in fact since 1974, it's been played between the league champions and the FA Cup holders from the previous season. It's the cup holders on the attack now with Giggs' cross, a decent one. Bellion couldn't pull it down. Keane trying to retrieve the situation. And in the end, looks aghast as the throw-in is awarded to Arsenal.
Keane looks at the referee's assistant and said, "You mean I wasn't fouled?" I remember a few years ago he would have had the referee's assistant by the throat at that stage, but he has cooled down a lot. He has calmed down. He's not the volatile player he was, and this time he does get the call. See?
Talking of volatile players, remember that 1974 Community Shield, or the Charity Shield as it was then called, for the antics of Kevin Keegan and Billy Bremner, who both got sent off on that occasion and took their shirts off walking off the Wembley turf.
There wasn't a whole lot of charity involved, was there, except for we're going to give the shirts away.
Well, Manchester United trying to get their noses in front here. Decent opportunity for Giggs to send in. Tormenting free kick. Arsenal with mass ranks back. That's the numbers they had that dealt with it effectively. Gary Neville to send it back in. Towards Scholes, a chance for Alan Smith. Well, he didn't get the clean connection he really wanted. As he was coming across the ball, it was maybe the challenge from Laurent that put him off his stride.
Well, Alan Smith coming in here, the ball is knocked down rather nicely to him, and I think he saw the defender coming, but the ball was already way up into the stands at that time. He would just missed it completely.
Yeah, Laurent closed the gap very quickly. Forced Smith to rush his shot somewhat. Now Roy Keane, definitely Manchester United's best spell of the game over the last 2 or 3 minutes. And they turn it into an end product. This is Djemba. Good first time ball from Giggs to Smith. Smith sending in the return. Far post header, tipped over the top. It was Gary Neville forcing the save from Lehmann.
Oh, a lovely ball sent across by Smithy as he swings it over. Look at him wide on the outside here on the left. Watch Gary Neville come, and he gets all the power of his body behind it, rises to it nicely, and Lehmann makes a really good save. That's the perfect cross, good header, and pushed away the defender and the goalkeeper. Very close there.
The Arsenal defence really looking stretched for almost the first time this afternoon. And Manchester United capitalise here. Giggs' corner. It was Bergkamp. Header away at the near post, and Reyes, a good turn from him, and he can use his pace to good advantage here. And there's Thierry Henry in support. Still Reyes, a great run from the Spaniard, and then he couldn't quite find the angle to feed Thierry Henry.
What a run through by Reyes. I mean, he was absolutely motoring up the field, and he turned Neville inside out, and then he just gave the ball away very, very cheaply.
Once again, Arsenal showing their ability to turn defence into attack in electrifying fashion.
Well, it's always one of the things of it's always featured on Wenger's team. Players with a lot of pace who can run at you with the pace and use that pace with the ball.
This is Alan Smith, wide right now. Can he inside brush Ashley Cole? He gets the shot away. Not too much trouble for Lehman in the end.
But that role that Smith is developing here, the last time he got the ball, he was on his left side. This time he comes across on his right side and he fires it off on the left foot. So Ferguson has given him that free role.
Lehman, as I mentioned, with 19 clean sheets last season. To start this new season with another one, that's for sure. Both goalkeepers have been impressive so far. Ball in from Neville. Smith's header up. Pascal Sagan kicking it away, and he was fouled in the process.
Well, that time Paul Scholes and Ryan Giggs were in a more advanced position than Smith.
Smith had made his Leeds debut back in November 1998, scored on his debut against Liverpool. He's been a fringe player as well for Sven-Göran Eriksson, who's here this afternoon. Didn't get the nod for the Euro 2004 squad, but I have to think Smith's future does include more England appearances.
Yeah, I think the only thing that he has to do now is apart from developing his game, he also has to slow down his temper a little bit. He has been known to act rashly at times, and I think if he gets that under control, which he will do under Alex Ferguson, that's for sure.
So into the last couple of minutes of the first half here. It's been entertaining stuff from the Millennium Stadium. Both these two teams, you know, want to win so badly against their fiercest rival, of course. Chelsea have now entered the domestic picture, trying to usurp the dominance that these two teams have enjoyed over the last decade. And you can be sure the men from Stamford Bridge are watching with some interest this afternoon. This is Jermaine Pennant. Laurent had continued his run into the area. This is Laurent, he squares it. Oh, to just the right sort of area as well, unfortunately for him. Gary Neville was the only man in that spot.
Well, Gary Neville's done a good job of covering across there, Adrian. I mean, he's made a couple of key intercepts. I know that's what he's out there for, but he's still playing well.
Albellion. Neville forward to join the attack. Paul Scholes. Alan Smith as Manchester United exhibit the patient build-up. And it comes to nothing though. Jens Lehmann completing the clearance. Ashley Cole. 30 England caps to his name already.
Well, England don't have a whole lot of left-sided players, but they have one pretty good one in him. As you said, he's still a young player. He's developing.
1 minute of stoppage time. And what has been an entertaining first half of the English domestic season. Of course, the Premiership starts in earnest next weekend.
What a way to start for Manchester United and Chelsea, huh?
Big week immediately for Manchester United when you consider they travel to Romania during the week to take on Dinamo Bucharest. And that, in reality, might be the most important game of the three.
Well, you're probably not going to lose the Premiership in the first game, but you're going to find yourself out of the Champions League because of the first game.
This is Reyes bursting forward, maybe the last chance of the half here, setting up Thierry Henry. Shot was blocked. A combination of Fortune and Djemba. Now is there a chance for Manchester United to strike right at the death? This is Paul Scholes. Outside Ashley Cole, it's Scholes' shots. And Jens Lehmann, who had a very quiet first 35 minutes or so, has had to make 2 or 3 saves towards the end of this first half.
That was a really good save too. Scholes with a nice shot and Lehmann coming up with a huge save.
That will do it for the first half. Dennis Bergkamp has looked in inspirational form again, much to the joy of the Arsenal faithful here at the Millennium Stadium. Thierry Henry came close to breaking the deadlock. But we reach half-time goalless, and we'll return to the Millennium Stadium with a half-time show, including all those first-half highlights. So don't go away. It's the Community Shields on ESPN. To Wales, the fine city of Cardiff, and the magnificent Millennium Stadium, which has been really the centrepiece of the English domestic game. All the showpiece games have been played here since 2001, where the old Wembley Stadium closed down at the end of 2000. Of course, plans afoot for the rebuilding of Wembley, but for now, the Millennium Stadium, it doesn't get much better than this in Britain. And the FA Community Shield, the traditional start to the English season, which seems to get a little bit earlier each year, Tommy. Here we are on the 8th of August. And Arsenal and Manchester United already doing a battle. As you look back over the last 10 years of the Champions League, well, it's indicative of the domination that Manchester United and Arsenal have had over the domestic game.
Yeah, it certainly is. I mean, Manchester United and Arsenal, those teams just been taken away there by the two Liverpool sides, Liverpool and Everton winning it. And well, I'm not sure that it's any great pointer towards what happens in the actual season, because you look at some of those years that Manchester United won it, they didn't win the championship, and vice versa with Arsenal.
Blackburn, the last team to win the league championship other than Arsenal and Manchester United, and that way back in 1995. Can Chelsea break up the domination? It's going to be one of the interesting stories of this upcoming season in England. Oh, Thierry Henry thought he had a penalty towards the end of the first half.
He got a little bit of a push there, but I don't think there was ever going to be a penalty on. And some of the highlights we didn't get in on our highlight rip. Manchester United did create a few good opportunities. Paul Scholes coming up with one here. The dandy redhead smacks one in that the keeper just takes courtesy of a deflection. It was a tough save on the keeper. It may not have gone in. And then Bergkamp sets Reyes through on the far side. And when the ball comes back across into the middle, Henry with a nice left-footed shot, and that's the one that Pennant should have buried. Instead of trying to guide it in, he should have given it a lash. Nice move here. Reyes pulling the ball back in between three defenders. Once again, the Manchester United defenders not marking up very close, but it is the first game of the season. And Alan Smith then flicked it across. Neville would love to have this one back again. Gets his head behind it. The defender is right there, the keeper is right there, and the ball is put out. Nice cross by Smith. Nice header by Neville. Good save by Lehmann. No matter how often you see it, it's still nice, isn't it?
Yeah, that was one of the few opportunities the Arsenal defence really looked stretched towards the end of the first half.
Well, Manchester United stretched him a couple of times because Smith playing that roving role. He went out onto the right-hand side that time. Remember, he was on the left when he made the cross, out onto the right-hand side, decides to have a go himself, hits it with the left foot, keeps it down low. You're looking at it from a different angle. He turned Ashley Cole around, did gain a yard of space on him.
Jermaine Pennant going back on the field, and look back at those first half highlights, Tommy. You have to feel his chance was the best of the half.
Oh yeah, it certainly was. And we're just talking about this game.
It's going to be, as usual in this fixture, probably a bevy of substitutions that comes our way in the second half.
Here's the young man we were joking about early on. Here's Van Persie. This, to me, is one of the best players that Arsenal have obtained after watching him for the last year and a half in Holland. Van Persie is a very, very good player. We were joking about how much he looked like Ronaldo. Obviously, if he dyed that hair blonde, he might look even more like him. But I'll tell you one thing, he's something to watch in terms of playing football.
Well, in terms of this afternoon, at least, he'll have big boots to fill because he's replaced Thierry Henry. Van Persie, who turned 21 on Friday, is a real phenomenon in Dutch football over the last 2 or 3 seasons, playing for Feyenoord.
And if you talk to him, he'd tell you he could replace Thierry Henry without any problem. That's the kind of a player he is.
He's tall and gangly, but
and cocky.
Very effective. Excellent left foot. Adrian Healy and Tommy Smith with you as we're underway in the second half. Van Persie, we believe, is the main change on the team. halfway mark, but I'm sure that Alex Ferguson will be giving some of his projected starters on Wednesday night a rest as the second half progresses. Alan Smith.
That's the side of Alan Smith that Sir Alex Ferguson doesn't want to see. The Alan Smith that chaws back at the referees and chinwags with everybody that they listen to him. He wants to see the player who can grab the ball. And there's Mr. Kirosh back. He's now the assistant coach back with Sir Alex Ferguson. Kirosh didn't have a great time with Real Madrid.
Didn't have the best of times, did he?
No.
Of course, Real Madrid may yet have some sort of impact on this English domestic season if they are to lure Patrick Vieira away from Highbury.
Well, I think the fact that they recognise that losing Claude Makelele was probably the biggest mistake that Real Madrid made, and now they want to undo that mistake by getting Patrick Vieira. That's the big thing for Real Madrid. If they get him, plus the fact that they have Samuel now as the defender, that should rectify some of the problems they had, because Real Madrid certainly have the players who can put the ball in the back of the net. They just didn't have players to stop people from putting the ball in the back of their net.
You have to wonder what the effect would be on the defending champions losing an inspirational captain. They had to play at times without him last season. They did miss a couple of months of the season with injury.
But Arsenal are not the same team without Patrick Vieira as anybody who would imagine. You can't replace a player like that. I mean, you just hope that somebody steps in and does a job, but he is such an influential player on Arsenal. I think he'd be an awful loss, Adrian.
We certainly have a little glimpse of the future this afternoon for Arsenal with Fabregas and Van Persie out there now. Jermaine Pennant, he will have his own role to play. Should have put the champions in front with the best chance of the first half. Keane snapping into the challenge. Fortune trying to release Smith, but
how often have you said that? Keane snapping into a challenge, let me tell you. That's one of the, you know, you look at Keane and you look at Vieira, two players who have dominated in that role of snapping in. As you see Smith, he's not offside.
It looked like his run across level with the back line of Arsenal had kept him on. There's confirmation of the half-time substitution for Arsene Wenger. Robin Van Persie replacing Thierry Henry. Henry had a pretty good 45 minutes. Here's Reyes. That's a good run from Reyes. Oh, a glorious dribble from him, and he misses. Well, it's the second time. I was convinced Arsenal had taken the lead, and once again, everything there except the finish.
Oh, what a move. What an absolute glorious move. He gets away from Keane. He turns away from Sylvester. He takes Howard out of it. And then with the net gaping empty, Reyes puts it into the side netting. Can't believe you miss one like that.
I just wonder whether the misses are going to come back and haunt the champions in terms of this game. It's onside once again. Reyes with a glorious opportunity. He feeds it. And an easy goal for Gilberto. And Arsenal have the lead. Moments after Reyes had missed a glorious opportunity, he turns provider. And Gilberto with the easiest of finishes.
Once again, the Manchester United defence is cut out completely. Look at that, there's no question he is offside. In my opinion, he's offside, but the flag doesn't go up. And then there are three players running in. It's very easy tip in for Gilberto. Reyes pushes the ball out wide. Manchester United defenders are chasing shadows at that stage. John O'Shea was out of it, and Gilberto just sneaks in. I mean, he has Van Persie alongside him. There's a convoy of them coming through, but
there won't be many easier goals for the Brazilian, will there, this season? Credit to Reyes, though. He kept his head after the disappointment of missing such an easy chance a couple of minutes previous to that. But as you say, maybe some controversy about the offside decision that wasn't given.
But once again, Manchester United's defence is getting caught out by pace. We talked about it in the first half, Adrian, a couple of times. They just don't have a defender in there who can turn and run with you. I mean, you look at the four of them across the back. John O'Shea is a good defender if he's out on the left. John O'Shea tonight is in the middle. Silvestre doesn't have the pace in the middle, and certainly Neville doesn't have the pace on the right-hand side. Anybody that has pace is Quinton Fortune. He's on that outside, and we're going to see a couple of changes now from Manchester United, but the back, certainly they're lacking pace. Philip Neville's coming on, Forlan's coming on.
Yeah, massed changes spurred by that goal from Arsenal. Certainly,
Fortune has gone off.
And Darren Fletcher, I think, is also going to come on. Darren Fletcher, Diego Forlan, and Phil Neville, the three players entering. Darren Fletcher, at 20 years old, he's just been made the captain of Scotland, and he's going to probably be a direct replacement for Roy Keane. Keane, the man who tried to persuade Fletcher to play for Ireland, it didn't work. Fletcher chose to play for Scotland instead. So 3 changes for Alex Ferguson, and a chance for Diego Forlan to make an impact as well. Forlan will obviously go up front to join Alan Smith in attack.
Well, John O'Shea's gone out on the right. Neville's gone into the middle. Gary Neville's gone in the middle. Silvestre and Philip Neville is on the left. That's the 4 across the back, the way I see it.
Forlan to O'Shea. Now Fletcher. Not the best of touches from him, but found his target in the end. Paul Scholes. Jemba. Forlan. Going back deep to join the attack. Diego Forlan. It was a good first touch of the ball for the Uruguayan, but not the end product he wanted.
Well, there was a lot of questions, would Forlan still be with this team? I mean, he hasn't done the job. He hasn't scored the goals like he's supposed to have scored them. And here's a good example of not real confidence in himself here. A terrible pass. He misread where the players were going. Scholes was going into the middle, and Forlan, I love his hair, but I hate his passing.
Well, there has been plenty of thought that Diego Forlan is more effective for his country than his club. He's been banging in the goals for Uruguay. Not so much at Old Trafford, but he's still here. And certainly, if there's any sort of prolonged absence for Van Nistelrooy or Saha, Forlan might yet get his chance to shine. This is Alan Smith out wide. Fletcher held in such high esteem here at the Old Trafford faithful. A good ball in. Lehmann at the second time of asking, grabbing it ahead of David Bellion.
Well, Fletcher got a good effort in there to get that ball inside. Good run back by Bellion too, to cover a lot of ground.
Well, the goal seems to have sparked Manchester United into some life. Arsenal getting themselves in front, courtesy of Gilberto Silva. Alex Ferguson responding with 3 immediate changes. I've enjoyed more of the possession since then. Free kick now for the champions. Here's the goal scorer, Gilberto, in his 3rd season. Ivory. There's Bergkamp. What a ball in, and what a header! Just wide from Robin van Persie. Our first glimpse of the young Dutchman, and it was the old Dutchman who set him up.
Wide on the right, Bergkamp. Look at Van Persie making the move. He steps inside to John O'Shea. He has all the time in the world, all the space in the world. A beautiful ball delivered, and Van Persie would love to have put that one away, but you see some of his ability there. He got into such a nice position and he made a nice run. This man is a special talent.
Some confirmation of the Manchester United substitutes. Diego Forlan replacing Ryan Giggs. Philip Neville on for Quinton Fortune. Manchester United trying to create something here, and it's Alan Smith. What a start for the Yorkshireman, who's moved to Lancashire. Alan Smith took advantage of a loose ball, bouncing ball just outside the Arsenal area, and what a finish from Smith. No chance for Lehmann, and Manchester United respond within 5 minutes.
Well, there was controversy there. Was it a handball? Was he offside? There was lots of things going on here, but here's the ball knocked down. Smith's coming through. Does it hit him on the hand? I think he guides the ball into his own path. The referee's assistant ruled that it was completely unintentional, that he had no intention of trying to do it, and you would have to feel that that's exactly what it was. But what a blazing shot as he bulges the old onion bag. You get a better look here. He's looking away from the ball. That was a really good call by the officials. I must say that the officials definitely got it right that time, because you can see Alan Smith, he was looking to his left and the ball actually hit his right hand. And what a finish as he bulged the old onion bag. In Manchester United, we talked about him earlier on, Adrian, that, you know, he wasn't that prolific a goal scorer for Leeds, but if he bangs them in like that for the Red Devils, he'll be very, very popular. He needs to do something special, and that was something special.
Well, he certainly took full advantage of a little bit of luck that came his way. It did indeed come off his hand. I don't think you could claim it was intentional. Manchester United have been in charge since Arsenal took the lead. They've hauled themselves back into it. What a finish from Alan Smith. He surely won't score many better goals in what may prove to be a long and illustrious Manchester United career. What a start. And I'm sure the fans...
Well, he may be sweating a little, and he may be sweating a little before it's all over, but I think he got it right.
Now then, John O'Shea. A deep hanging cross. Diego Forlan was in a vague area. Lehman coming to claim, and Arsenal...
Well, he was well beaten by Smith's shot, but I suppose you would have to give him a little benefit of the doubt that perhaps he played, which he shouldn't do. He played his own mind, figuring that Smith was going to be called for a handball.
Once again, a run forward into space, creating some problems at the back for Manchester United this time. O'Shea wrestling it away from Gilberto.
O'Shea is much more comfortable playing over towards the left-hand side, Adrian, than he is on the right-hand side. He gets turned around very easily on the left-hand side. I mean, last year he had the sophomore jinx.
Scholes to Bellion. Bellion right into the mixer. And it needed Touré's intervention. Oh, Touré showing off the good form. Made him such a integral part of Arsenal's success last season. But back come Manchester United with Darren Fletcher. You could see what was on his mind, trying to scoop it over to Diego Forlan.
Yeah, but he should have been having on his mind that he should have had a shot. I mean, he was running right down the middle, control the ball and give it a smack.
Well, the changes that Alex Ferguson made have had a dramatic effect on this game.
It's like a cup final now, isn't it?
1-1, as it was when these two teams met 12 months ago. Now Alan Smith has got himself into a bit of bother here with Robin van Persie. Referee allowing play to continue. Manchester United really seem to have found a second win. Having said that, sloppy ball gives it away. Reyes trying to get on the end of Dennis Bergkamp's ball. It pops back out to Bergkamp. And Gilberto arriving again. Still the Brazilian. He feeds Jermaine Pennant, who lets it go. And a goal for Arsenal. And it's Jose Antonio Reyes. The Spanish man puts the ball in the back of the net. And this game has really exploded to life in the second half. Arsenal get themselves in front again.
Well, this is just sloppy defending here. The ball was knocked down by Silvestre. Bergkamp picks it up, and as the ball comes back across into the middle here, there's a touch onto the ball. Beautiful ball inside, and Reyes and Pennant had the opportunity to put it away, and Reyes picks the spot and he buries it in the corner of the old onion bag. Nice move here to keep the ball down. That was well done. And here's the ball coming across. No sign of the keeper. The ball is in the back of the net. Reyes took a shot. I mean, third time is the charm. He had two really good opportunities before, and finally he buries one.
Well, such big things expected of Reyes this season, and he certainly started off as if he means to deliver. That glorious opportunity. It looked easier to score. He put it wide. He then set up the opening goal for Gilberto. And now he's put his team back in front.
Well, when you look at the way the goals came, the two of them come from that left side. Alex Ferguson shaking his head, his left-sided defenders letting him down. He brought Philip Neville on to replace Quinton Fortune, and didn't work.
Well, you hit the nail on the head, Tommy. It was definitely a woeful goal from a defensive point of view for Manchester United. Ball bouncing around in the area, and Gilberto had no business being able to get on the end of it and set up the goal. Well, we have quite a game on our hands here. Who said it was a friendly? trying to combine with the Bellion. Toure happy to hack it away. We've reached the hour mark in Cardiff.
Well, it's amazing when you look at it. United have won this 5 times. Only twice they've won the championship after winning it.
As always, we'll catch up on what's happening in the world of sports. Join ESPN for another edition of Sports Centre. Check your local listings wherever you may be watching around the world. Looking at the end of the afternoon for Dennis Bergkamp. And Jeremy Aliadier, the young Frenchman, is going to be his replacement. 21 years old, Aliadier. Now Reyes. Oh, he was chopped down there. This is going to be a free kick to Arsenal. Painful for Reyes. And I think Philip Neville is going to be in the referee's book as a result of that challenge.
Well, this time he goes in and he just he takes the legs out from underneath Reyes, and he just doesn't have a good record in this competition, does he? Booked in last year's game against Arsenal, booked in this year's game against Arsenal. Well, at least he's consistent. You know what I was talking about, the last 3 times that Arsenal have won the Shield, 98, 99 and 2002, rivals Manchester United have gone on to win the Premiership. So United fans will feel to have Arsenal just where they want them if Arsenal do win this game.
Well, they're trying to get themselves further in front here. This is Robin van Persie. He's going to hit this left-footed. Took a deflection off the wall, did it? Should be a corner kick for Arsenal. Van Persie strongly favours the left peg. He might go across and take this. He's going to leave it. There's another aspect that Van Persie brings to Arsenal, the ability to take corner kicks, relieving Thierry Henry of some of that duty. Arsenal fans enjoying what they're seeing, which at the moment is Jose Reyes taking a corner kick.
Well, one hopes this doesn't start into a narky game. I mean, these two clubs are capable of it.
Ball just about cleared away by Manchester United. And the challenge is certainly...
Well, there's a bite, isn't there?
To fly in, yep.
There's the bite.
There's the confirmation of Arsene Wenger's change. Jeremy Aliadier replacing Dennis Bergkamp. And Bergkamp, another fine outing from him. Strong challenge from Djemba Djemba. Pascal Sagan out to meet him. Djemba Djemba feeding O'Shea, who in turn feeds Forlan. Can he keep it in?
No.
Well, I think you're right, Tommy. The flag was out. Goal kick for Arsenal. The end result. Alan Smith has started his Manchester United career in spectacular form. This is how it happened.
Oh, there's the ball knocked down, and there's the shot. Oh, from that angle, it's absolutely brilliant the way it bounces away. And here's the goal on the opposite end. Pennant wisely leaves it for Reyes, and he makes no mistake as he smacks it through.
Well, it's been Reyes' second half so far. He's been involved in all the good things that Arsenal have done. Set up one, scored another, and here he is. Reyes asking a little bit too much of Pennant on this occasion. Tim Howard grateful to get it clear. Now O'Shea. Fletcher, loose touch he just about recovers from, releasing Philip Neville ahead of Scholes, but Smith finds Scholes. Run off the ball is from Bellion, tracked by Sagan. Bellion forced wide. Fletcher. Good ball, well controlled by Scholes. He's brought down, is he? No, says the referee. Did look like Scholes was chopped down. And Silvestre getting himself in a little bit of bother, but just about shielding it away from Reyes.
Well, they have moved Silvestre out to that left full spot. That's where he is That's his best position as far as I'm concerned. If he's playing for Manchester United, he's the best. And now they have put O'Shea. That means the two Nevilles are in the middle.
So 20 minutes into the second half.
And you know, it's been a problem spot for Manchester United over the last 4 or 5 years. Once Dennis Irwin retired, they really haven't found somebody to fill that left full spot the way Dennis Irwin, Mr. Reliability, as Ferguson said, he was always the first man on the team sheet.
Arsene Wenger hasn't made the rash of big money signings that the big teams around Europe have done. So much of Arsenal's financial circumstances revolving around their planned new stadium in North London.
Well, he really hasn't bought a player now. This is the second year. I mean, he didn't make any noise in the transfer market last year either.
Yeah. Preparing to bring in young players. Well, Monday Night Football returns to your screens. ESPN bringing you the Hall of Fame game from Canton, Ohio. It's going to be the Denver Broncos against the Washington Redskins. Check your local listings wherever you are. Can you believe the NFL season is almost upon us as well? Summers seem to go a little quicker nowadays, Tommy.
You get saying you're getting older.
And what a nice flick from Reyes. Release. Pennant, I think, has gone down, or is it Aladier? There's an Arsenal player down holding himself. It is Jeremy Aladier.
Well, that would be very unfortunate because, I mean, the French under-21 international hoping to make a breakthrough this year. I mean, he did well last year, but remember, he's had 2 hernia operations. It hampered his progress going back to 2002, 2003. And he runs into another Frenchman here, and Silvestre comes away with the ball, and it looks like his knee.
Yeah, his knee visibly gave way there. It's not promising signs.
No, and the fact that he has to compete with, he's probably competing with a race for a spot on this Arsenal team. Remember, he set up a beautiful goal in that when Arsenal beat Inter Milan 5-1 last year. He set up a beautiful goal for them.
Well, it's not as though Arsenal don't have plenty of midfield strength. Even if Patrick Vieira does end up leaving for the Bernabeu. Remember, Edu is not involved today. Francis Jeffers, another option for Arsene Wenger. Robert Pires and Freddie Ljungberg also not playing a part, so they really do have strength in depth in midfield.
Yeah, they're not taking any chances. Jeffers is coming right on. That's a sorry sight to see a young player being carted off like that in the first game of the season, and you know that he's in real agony.
Well, Gael Clichy, in fact, is going to be the replacement. Only a left back. Clichy pretty much a direct replacement for Ashley Cole, so I wonder how Wenger will shift his team around now. But Jeremy Aladier looks in some trouble as he stretches it off. And the game back underway. And a nice touch again by Fabregas. Alan Smith winning the header above Sigan and then winning the free kick. Thanks to the challenge from Toure, or rather Gilberto. Djemba really hasn't been able to impose himself too much on the proceedings so far.
I mean, you could pick a lot of Manchester United players out who really didn't play very well today. I mean, there's a lot of them out there you say were they on the field at all. I mean, you've seen so little of them. Ryan Giggs is certainly one player who played very little in the game, and as you said, Djemba and Bellion, he drifted in and out of the game.
Of course, a litany of absentees for Alex Ferguson, but he'll be facing pretty much the same situation when he picks his team to play down in Bucharest on Wednesday. Big arrivals for him, including included Gabriel Hines, the Argentinian defender. He's not going to be available.
He's going to play with Argentina in the Olympics, like Ronaldo went to play with Portugal in the Olympics. Ferguson wasn't very, very happy about any of that situation.
And a pretty lame shot in the end from Paul Scholes, all along the ground. No Cristiano Ronaldo or Gabriel Hines. Nistelrooy out for a month. Of course, Rio Ferdinand won't be back until the end of September. Liam Miller, another close season signing from Celtic, not available. There's the confirmation of the change enforced by the injury. There's actually Clichy on for Aladier. Clichy getting forward nicely, retaining the possession somehow. And then brought down, was he? Yes. There's Mike Dean. Now a real shoving match between Djemba and Fabregas.
Well, that's what you want to avoid in this situation. That's what I was talking about. So many of these games have ended in bad situations. You want to avoid that here. Ashley Cole getting involved. Djemba. Lorenz pushing him. Djemba wants no part of it. The referee has given it just outside of the box. He could just as easily have given it inside of the box, but I think he's going to talk to the players first, does he?
Yeah, the referee has to take some action here, surely. Djemba was well out of order. He indeed does get the yellow, and it's Ashley Cole who receives one too. Shades of Old Trafford from last October, maybe. Infamous brawl to end the 0-0 draw on that occasion. Manchester United were getting set to make some more substitutions, but for a moment they have some defending to do. Jermaine Pennant standing over. A good opportunity for Arsenal. Pennant delivers. Header away. And only as far as Ashley Cole, and his shot well over the top. Well, the flurry of changes will continue. Kieran Richardson is going to enter the fray. And Chris Eagles is also going to come into the game.
Smith is gone. Good outing by Alan Smith.
So the changes are Kieran Richardson replacing Paul Scholes. Chris Eagles on for Alan Smith. As you say, Smith making an immediate impact. But now what can Chris Eagles show? As you said, Tommy, he showed some impressive stuff on Manchester United's tour of the United States.
Yeah, he looked like a player who is certainly going to develop into somebody that Alex Ferguson can use this year.
Kieran Richardson, only 19 years old himself, but has already been with Manchester United for a few years. So both squads now showing something of the way their future lies in terms of personnel out there. Reyes. A free kick for Arsenal. Goes far post. And in the end, Fabregas couldn't quite get on the end of it. But he has really shone brightly this afternoon.
Yeah, he's certainly somebody that Wenger has good plans for in the future, and if he stays injury-free and continues to develop, he'll be a good player. John O'Shea did well, didn't he?
O'Shea stepped through 2 or 3 separate challenges, and a good ball towards Forlan. Well, it just skipped away from him in the end. Jens Lehmann, well placed to deal with it. And Fabregas is brought down by Djemba, who's on a yellow card. Mike Dean not taking any further action on the Cameroon player. And I think the right decision looking at that replay. He really didn't connect with Fabregas. Confirmation of the last changes. Alex Ferguson. Kieran Richardson and Chris Eagles on for the Reds. Alan Van Persie. Right into the danger area, sent back in by Pennant. Again, a little bit of indecision at the bat. Look at that. Gary Neville providing Tim Howard with a minor heart attack there.
Well, he was the man responsible for allowing Van Persie to place this ball beautifully across the box. Back into the middle it goes, and then Neville almost puts it into his own net, as Tim Howard and Neville had a little miscommunication.
I get the feeling Manchester United badly need the return of Rio Ferdinand. Of course, what sort of match fitness is he going to be in after missing 8 or 9 months?
Well, you just wonder what that back four is going to be eventually. I mean, Wes Brown, where's his spot on that back four? Where does Hines fit in when he comes back from the Olympics? And what's the fate of John O'Shea and Neville? I mean, Alex Ferguson, when the season does get going, if he has everybody healthy, he's going to have a few decisions to make in terms of who is going to be his back four.
Gilberto having another fine game. Centre of the Arsenal midfield. Certainly promising signs. The champions from Highbury. Clichy venturing forward. Good work from him. He squares it. And on the turn, it was a shot from Fabregas. He really could have capped a fine afternoon had he put that one away.
What a move by Clichy to take on the defender here, go around him and switch the ball back into the middle. Beautiful ball, nice turn, just not a very good shot. He rushed his shot just a little bit. The ball was rolling away from him. He never really got his body around behind the ball, and he just spins it wide of Tim Howard.
The Arsenal fans must be licking their lips at the prospect of Van Persie and Fabregas joining the ranks.
The rain is really coming down, Adrian.
Yeah, not a repeat of the game 12 months ago, which was played in boiling hot temperatures here in Wales. I think they've had a bright and fluid game because of the conditions. Both teams really sending out their stall to attack. I think pretty much the most hardened of Manchester United fans would have to say a fair scoreline at the moment. The shape of play. Ashley Cole, real danger here for Manchester United. Cole's shot goes in off Silvestre. It'll be an own goal, but surely that wraps up the Community Shield for Arsenal. It was Ashley Cole that made it happen, and it's been a miserable couple of months for Mikel Silvestre.
Well, he didn't finish the season very good with Manchester United. He had a terrible time in Euro 2004 with France, and he hasn't had a very bright day today, and he ends up giving away an own goal. But I mean, you gotta feel a little bit sorry for him. I mean, Cole got away from several other defenders, several other Manchester United players who went down in a heap, including Neville, and then in the end Silvestre just turns the ball in by Timmy Howard. Watch what Cole does here. Bellion is there, Neville is there, and then when Silvestre comes across, I mean, he had already taken 2 Manchester United players out of it, and he's just the unfortunate one that got a touch on the ball.
As you were watching the goal develop for Arsenal, there was another change, and Christian Van Hooyt was the man who came on.
Reyes is the man who's gone off. You can see him there in your picture. They're working on that left ankle of his.
Christian Hooyt, actually a defender by nature. And wear the number 31 shirt from Arsene Wenger. Well, if there is a psychological advantage to be gained from this first fixture of the season in terms of the store for the year, from Highbury, definitely got it this afternoon, and there could be more yet. Pennant unable to get on the end of that through ball.
Well, I don't think anything's happening out there that Alex Ferguson's not aware of before now. I think Alex Ferguson has to be very well aware that his team really doesn't have the pace at the back. I mean, they have a midfield out there that is so inexperienced. He wouldn't be expecting a whole lot from them, so Arsenal have looked good. Arsenal have taken their scores well. They've played well at the back. Their defence has played well at most of the time. There's been a few breakdowns, but not nearly as many breakdowns as there has been for Manchester United. The pace has told, hasn't it?
And all sorts of space again for Jermaine Pennant. He went it alone in the end, even though he did have help available, and he's left holding his back by a strong challenge from Jimba again. Free waving play on. Kieran Richardson is backed into a corner. No way forward for him. Neville trying to feed Forlan. He got on the end of it. It was a decent opportunity in the end for the Uruguayan. Still, Pennant is down. What do you think he's saying there, Tommy?
Well, he's appealing to the referee, saying, hey, at least I should have gotten a free kick. He did get taken out of it just as he was on the ball.
And it's going to be yet another change, and this is the young American Jonathan Spector, who's going to come on for John O'Shea. So Alex Ferguson using everyone on the bench. Jonathan Spector, just 18 years old.
Well, the US Tour used him as a left-sided defender, and it's a problem that he's had all day, Alex Ferguson, but he's put Spector in now. He's a direct replacement for O'Shea. O'Shea was playing on the right side of the defence, so Spector has gone in for that, to take up that position.
Well, I think you're right, Tommy. No way that Alex Ferguson isn't aware of the problems that Manchester United face, but the problem he faces is putting things right in a short space of time before Wednesday, because they have a very important game in Romania.
Yeah, it's not like he has a whole lot of bunch of players sitting someplace and he's saying, okay, I can put them back onto the team and everything's going to be right. That's not going to happen. I mean, he's going to have to make a few very hard decisions.
Once again, defensive shortcomings shown up by Arsenal. Will there be yet more damage to the morale of Manchester United? Again, looking very uncomfortable at the back. This time scrambling it away.
I mean, is your midfield going to be Fletcher, Keane, Scholes and Giggs? I mean, is that midfield is going to win something for you?
I do wonder. What will the front line be on Wednesday night? It's a possibility that Louis Saha will be available. Saha and Smith, precious little time to operate together. There you go, Forlan. Always an option for Alex Ferguson. They will be glad that they have the away leg first in this Champions League qualifier. They'll be travelling to Romania, just looking to get whatever they can out of the game. Return at Old Trafford a week later.
Does Liam Miller get a spot on this team very quickly? I mean, it's a great opportunity for the man coming down from Celtic to get himself onto that team.
Spector, nice touch from him. And he releases Chris Eagles. Eagles the ball in. A bit too close to Lehmann though. Unable to control. He goes back to Spector. This time last year was playing for the Chicago Sockers, amateur club team in the United States. So another moment for him, performing on the biggest stage in England. Does well to release Bellion. Bellion forced to turn away from goal by Sigan. Did he do enough to win the corner kick? Sigan thought it should have been a goal kick.
I do too. I thought that Bellion touched it last, and so did the referee, which is the most important thing, and the referee's assistant. Spector played well enough too on the tour against Bayern Munich, AC Milan. I thought he played well enough. He's a young player who will develop too. Played on the US under-17 team. I mean, it's not a question of they have the nucleus to become a team. The problem that Alex Ferguson has is putting together as a team right now. I mean, there's a lot of good things in the future, obviously, but the future is the present. And the present is where it counts, because he needs to get to the next group. He needs to get into the Champions League, into the group stages.
Yeah, almost unthinkable. Manchester United wouldn't be there, but such a difference.
£10 million, £15 million unthinkable as far as Manchester United are concerned.
Such a difference between qualifying directly by finishing first or second, as Arsenal and Chelsea did.
I mean, Mr. Gill may say that Manchester United can compete with any team in the world and may have the resources to compete with any team in the world. That may be true. I mean, they really haven't shown it to us that they are prepared to go out and buy a player. I mean, Ferguson's had a problem last year. He's had a problem this year. I mean, when you look at the squad, it needs a freshening up, but it needs one really good players.
Be the end of the afternoon for Fabregas. He receives a warm ovation from the Arsenal fans.
He did well.
And Sebastian Savage, his replacement. So Arsene Wenger also bringing in the changes, using every one of his available outfield substitutions, as has Alex Ferguson. Only the goalkeepers have not been replaced.
An interesting thing happened here before the game. The McDonald's released 8,000 balloons. There was one for every new coach that they've created in a community spirit outlook. There are 4,000 of them already coaching. They're going to create 4,000 more new coaches, which is really great for the game. I mean, to see all these people, the initiative of bringing so many coaches together. So many of them are here at the game today. That's what this community shield is all about, isn't it?
The FA needing some community spirit after what has happened over the last couple of weeks. This is Clichy bursting forward. Still Clichy. Second time of asking, and unable to travel Tim Howard.
I think maybe they could use a little communication skill as well. Maybe there was too much of the community involved for a couple of weeks. If you get my drift.
Never a dull moment, it seems, when it comes to the governing body of English football.
And now the news that Kezman has been suspended for 3 games, but he's going to play in the first game against Manchester United because he got a red card in the US, and they didn't suspend him only from the day that the complaint was received, not the day that the complaint happened. Now, explain that one to me.
I can't.
I mean, and they were going to this year, they said, okay, we're going to fast track. There's going to be a lot of difference this year, the way we suspend players. But not a good start. Not a good start for Kezman.
There they are, releasing Eagles.
He's the man who's going to play with Chelsea.
The clearance was from Toure. Seems to be limping just a little bit. From the Ivory Coast.
He has turned out to be a tower of strength back there for Arsenal. He's won the job as a defender alongside of Sol Campbell.
He's the most improved player, many people felt, at Highbury last year. Paulo Toure will be heavily involved for the Ivory Coast in World Cup qualifying as well this season.
Well, I thought he had a couple of brilliant games in the Champions League last year. Something that's what Arsenal want to win. Arsenal, hey, well, it's nice to win the Premiership, it's nice to win the FA Cup. Been there, done that. Champions League, haven't done that. That's what their goal is. They want, Arsene Wenger wants to win a Champions League. I think nowadays, unless you win a Champions League, you never really receive the plaudits as a coach or a team unless you do win Europe's top prize.
I don't think there can be too much doubt, Tommy, that the top 2 teams in Europe last year were Arsenal and AC Milan. Neither of them made it to that Champions League final. Both will be looking to make amends this year, that's for sure. Amazing to think they lost just 1 game between them in their respective domestic leagues.
If I was having a few bob on this year, I might be looking at Real Madrid as the team to win it this year again.
They can't do as badly as last year, can they? It's a good delivery. Tim Howard needed to come out. Oh, he got a knock for his troubles.
He got hit on the head as he came out after the ball.
Well, there's 2 or 3 players who are feeling the effects as we enter stoppage time here.
Well, Van Persie never want to take a backward step. Let it be coaching or let it be on the field. remember a game last year where he was suspended. He was taken off and he wouldn't go to the bench. He went right into the locker room, and then Van Persie, he wouldn't, because he was going to be on the bench for the next game, he wouldn't suit up. So he's a young man that has a very, very strong personality, who Arsene Wenger is going to have to take that personality and mould it into being a really good professional soccer player, which I think he has the ability to be a good soccer player, and you have to feel that Wenger has the ability to mould him into that.
Sky Man of the Match at the Community Shield 2004 is Arsenal number 9, Jose Reyes.
You heard the stadium announcer awarding the Man of the Match award to Jose Reyes.
Couldn't really dispute it, could you?
He certainly really was the man that made the impact. Started the second half.
A couple of great runs too, hadn't he, where he should have scored and didn't put them away. But
he set up the first for Gilberto. He scored the second. Alan Smith's reply interspersed those 2 goals, but then the own goal from Mikel Silvestre, created by Ashley Cole, was really the one that was the icing on the cake for Arsenal in terms of hoisting this Community Shield. Running out the last couple of minutes of stoppage time, Manchester United just playing for nothing more than pride now.
Players thought it was over. Someone started to shake hands.
Alex Ferguson will lick his wounds alongside Carlos Queiroz, and head for Romania on Wednesday. They need a result. This is Clichy. Back to Van Persie. He certainly looked the part since coming on. And now Arsenal just stroking it around. Ashley Cole trying to burst inside. Still no quarter given between these two teams. Sagan and Forlan, a full-blooded challenge for the ball deep into stoppage time with the game already decided. Arsenal, who didn't beat Manchester United in 4 attempts last season, in a season in which they beat just about everyone else. Well, they've beaten them this time to start the 2004-2005 season. Jose Antonio Reyes, the man who made the difference at the start of the second half. His goal and assist, giving Arsenal a 2-1 lead. Alan Smith replying. All the goals coming in the first 25-30 minutes of the second half, after a bright first half had ended scoreless. Dennis Bergkamp certainly played his part.
Yeah,
and Arsenal have many good things to look forward to, you feel, this season.
Yeah, they certainly have, and you have to highlight also the play of Gilberto. I thought he played very well, picking up the scraps. He was very much into the game. And Alex Ferguson's men really didn't deserve a victory today the way they played. Arsenal were a much better team as Bergkamp and Henry wait to get the Community Shield. But good performance by Arsenal. Manchester United, a few problems which I'm sure he was aware of beforehand, and they have the big game coming up Wednesday night, so they had a lot on their mind, Adrian.
Thierry Henry just went for 45 minutes, didn't add his name to the score sheet, but as it turned out, wasn't needed because of this man, Jose Antonio Reyes, the man of the match. This was the opening goal he set up for Gilberto Silva. It was Arsenal's afternoon. We'll be back to wrap things up as Arsenal run out winners by 3-1.
Kiri bunts, and nice sliding catch by Choi.
Well, when you get the bat too low and have to come up.
It was more so I got an opportunity the year before.
That's to right field, over Hidalgo's head, and Richard runs it down. Nice catch. Boy, that was drilled. Hit the other way. Here comes Floyd sliding ahead. Did he hang on? He did. He made the catch.
And a drive to center. Giles on his horse. It's in the gap, and a diving catch. Oh, what a catch by Jay Payton. Unbelievable. A drive to left and deep. Back goes Schwartz to the track at the wall. Crashes into the wall and makes the catch.
for the thrills and spills of motorsports all season long is ESPN. No equipment needed. Only your hands and your heart. And according to the outcome, you will live 3 minutes of hell or 3 minutes of glory. Friday Night Fights on ESPN.
ESPN's Legends of Cricket continues the countdown of the top 50 cricketers of all time. He revolutionised the art of batting. He was the first to bring cricket to a mass audience. He was generous of spirit and often controversial. A giant of the game before his first test match. Number 14 in the countdown of the 50 greatest cricketers of all time, W.G. Grace, on ESPN's History of Cricket.
Welcome back to the Millennium Stadium in Cardiff, where it was Arsenal's afternoon. They defeat Manchester United by 3-1 in the traditional curtain raiser to the English domestic season. There's one happy man, Arsene Wenger, Tommy.
Well, there's one unhappy man, Roy Keane. You can see those eyes of steel. He doesn't like to lose, even in the Community Shield, and awaiting the celebration now. And well, this one all started off very well in the first half. A lot of good action from Arsenal, but it was into the second half we went before we had our first score. And Bergkamp releases Reyes on the far side. The hands go up for the offside. The offside never came, and the ball was just slipped across into the middle, and it was a very easy chance for Gilberto just to knock the ball into the back of the net. Gilberto coming running down the middle, and Van Persie had been inserted in the game. You be the judge yourself. Is he offside? It's very close. I suppose you would probably have to say that you would give it to him, and it was a very easy tap in. That was 1-0 for Arsenal. And then in the 55th minute, Alan Smith, well, if there was a little controversy on the last one, there's controversy on this one as well, because Alan Smith knocks it down with his hand. Well, there was no controversy about the way he finished it off. Alan Smith came bursting through there, takes the ball. The referee's assistant is having none of it, that he handled the ball. The Arsenal players were complaining that he handled the ball, and as the ball came through, he did touch it with his hand. There's no question about that. He touched it with his right hand. The referee said, good call, he's saying to the referee's assistant on the far side of the field. Thumbs up from the two officials. No thumbs up from Arsene Wenger and the Arsenal players. Watch this as the ball is knocked down. Watch Smith coming through. Here's the ball, hits him right on the shoulder, right on the arm. But what a finish as he blasts it into the back of the net. And that's a good goal for Alan Smith. The Manchester United fans would be hoping there will be many more of them to come this year. The man they just got from Leeds. At that stage it was 1-1. As you see the smack, Alan Smith not even looking where the ball was. You couldn't call that one against him, I don't believe. And it was 1-1, but Arsenal had other ideas, and as the ball came through into the middle, there's all kinds of situations developed. Manchester United players falling down all over the place, and then the ball is just smacked into the back of the net. Reyes picks it. He had a couple of players around him. Pennant was also there, but the ball ran through to Reyes. Gilberto got a touch onto it. Gilberto was involved in it, and Reyes, who had a couple of golden opportunities earlier with nice runs down the middle where he took on Manchester United defenders and put them away, finally gets his due reward as he puts this one away. There's the first bit of a mistake here. Dennis Bergkamp seems to be always involved in anything that's good that happens for Manchester United. Gilberto with a touch into the middle, and there's the shot. Timmy Howard's coming out much too late. No chance on that one as Reyes buried it right into the corner. There's the knockdown by Gilberto. Did very well, controlled the ball very well, and then it was a good finish as the ball was smacked into the back of the net. And then in the 79th minute, well, Ashley Cole, we know that Ashley can make those runs forward. He doesn't mind taking on defenders. Runs into space here. Now he's going to get away from Belly, and then he gets away from Neville, and then he smacks the ball off Silvestra's foot and into the back of the net. Counts as an own goal, but it counts as a goal for Arsenal. 3-1 at this stage. Ashley Cole just pushing forward, and Silvestre, well, it's been a tough day for him.
And Arsenal hoist the Community Shields, and carrying on where they left off at the end of last season. So we're underway with the English domestic season. Manchester United in Champions League action during the week. Once again, our final score here: Arsenal 3, Manchester United won. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For Tommy Smith and all our crew here, I'm Adrian Healy saying good afternoon and goodbye.
A pitch tonight. Who would you rather have down the stretch?
Mulder barely, because he's been there before, but Santana is the best unknown pitcher in all of the big leagues. He's great, unbelievable, overwhelming. Rod Beck was released by the Padres. A single tear down your cheek. You're going to miss him?
My all-time favorite interview. Incredibly insightful and fearless after every game.
All-time favorite.